Hey guys there, what is going on? It's Camo here for another video. Today I've got an Advanced Warfare multiplayer guide, how to get long shots easily. And yes, there's a very easy guide I found, and it should work very easy for you. Now, obviously there's lots of long shots you're going to get in Advanced Warfare. What do you need them for? Well, they're for the Royalty and Diamond camos on assault rifles and snipers and heavy weapons. So for SMGs and shotguns it works a bit differently, but I'll have a similar video to talk about that later on. So for long shots, this is what we're focusing on today, long shots, how you get them. And yeah, like I said, it's been very effective because I'm way over 100 long shots already, and it's only the second day into Advanced Warfare. So 5 more of them and I've done all of the 5 long shot challenges, so that's going to be very easy for me because I followed this guide. So first of all, what game mode? Classic TDM, I would say, because that means if you're shooting the enemy and they had the XO on, then they can just boost out the way and then you can't get the kill. But if you're on a classic playlist, you won't have the XO abilities. You can't boost jump, you can't boost dash, anything like that. All you can do is just run around on the ground and then jump a little, as you normally would in other Call of Duties. It's really quite limited in terms of your movement. So that means if you're trying to shoot an enemy, they have to run away, which means that you can get the kill because you can just turn to where they're running and just shoot them. So if within that long shot distance, you're gonna get the long shot medal, so it's very easy for that. Now in terms of the class setup, I would go for whatever weapon you're trying to get the long shot medals for, and then go for a red dot sight, a stock, and a foregrip. Now red dot sight can be changed for things like target enhancer or thermal sights. Now I use target enhancer and thermal sights for maps where there's like debris or partition walls or something in the middle, or the enemies blend into the environment. So basically if you can't see the enemies very well on the map, then you want to use something like the target enhancer or the thermal. But normally I would just go for the red dot sight because it makes it clearer vision, easier to actually shoot the enemies and see where you're shooting. So that's what I'll go for. That's what the sight does. Obviously makes it clearer, more precise, more concentrated bullets into one place. Stock just makes it so you can move fast while aiming down the sight. Now while you're aiming down your sight, that gives you the ability to dodge from left to right very quickly, but only little movements, but very quickly from left to right. Now what that will do while you're aiming down sight is allow you to kind of be less vulnerable to bullets that enemies can shoot you, especially the person you're trying to shoot at. So if there's someone and they're within a long shot distance, so you're going to get the long shot medal if you kill them. If you just stand still, they're probably going to shoot back at you and you're going to die. But if you dodge from left to right while you're aiming down sight, that way you're aiming down, and if they move anyway or stay still, you can just shoot them, or you can shoot them anyway. But if you're dodging, that means that you're less likely to actually get bullets touching you, which means less likely to die. So that's what stock's for. And then finally, foregrip just means less kick on the weapon, which means the bullets are not going everywhere, they're just going where you want it, and less recoil. So that's that. Combat knife, I haven't got a secondary, just a combat knife, because there's no point. You're only focusing on the primary weapon, so don't start going off for secondary weapons. Now I've gone for a wild card primary gunfighter, which allows me to have 3 attachments, the ones I talked about above. Perk 1 then, I've gone for low profile, just basically means you can't be picked up by UAVs, so people can't see you, and so they can't come and hunt you down as easily. Perk 2, I've gone for peripherals, which means that you have a larger mini-map, which means you can see enemies easier, but also it allows you to kill enemies without their death locations being revealed. So an enemy will not be able to see the enemy you just killed if you're using peripherals perk. Now you could go for something like the sleight of hand perk, but I didn't have it unlocked at the time. They both work well, that one of those would be great. Now for perk 3 then, I went for toughness and hardwired. Toughness means that you don't flinch as much, and so when you're trying to get a kill, you kind of won't, your gun won't kick up, and so the bullets aren't going to be distorted everywhere. They're going to go one place where you want it, and that's what toughness will do. And then finally, hardwired just means that you're not vulnerable to things like system hack, which means your screen goes all blurry and you can't use your equipment properly. You're also not vulnerable against things like EMPs and stuff like that. That's what hardwired is. Very, very useful perk. So then for the X ability, I've left it because it's pretty pointless, and the XO launcher, I would have left it, but I didn't have the sleight of hand perk unlocked. If I had that perk unlocked to reload faster, I would have attached a 3rd wild card and had a 2nd perk to allow me to reload faster by getting the sleight of hand perk. But instead I didn't have that, so what I did is got 2 threat grenades, and that basically means I can chuck them and see if enemies are hiding behind walls, and it show up bright red through the walls if there's anyone there, and that's very useful for scouting out people to see where they are and to shoot them if you're trying to get long shot medals. Finally I went for a score streak. I only went for 1 though because there's not much point. You only want something that's going to help you get long shot medals. You don't want anything to, bring you in a paladin or anything. So what I went for is a UAV. Just means basically you can spot enemies, you know where they are, you know if there's anyone behind you trying to kill you. You also know where they are in front of you, so you can spot them easier and just try and kill them easier. So it's very, very useful. I went for the threat detection, so it means you can see people through walls for the first 10 seconds of UAV. I also went for the extra assist points module, so it basically means that I get more points, so I level up faster. So it's 2 in 1 really, 2 birds with 1 stone. And then finally support, so that when I die my score carries on and I can earn that UAV without having to restart again. So that's been the class setup. Now finally maps and kind of tactics and stuff like that. So I would go onto a large map. The larger the map, the easier for you. You want to go on a large map, preferably one where there's like a high ledge or a high building, or not massively high, but higher than other people, so you can kind of look down on them. You want to be as far back in the map as possible so that you can extend that distance even further to make long shots more likely. And you don't need to go way over proportion, otherwise the recoil is going to be too strong and you won't be able to see them properly. It's going to be more difficult to fire at them. But if you're at a sensible distance, as far back on the map as possible, it means basically you're more likely to get the long shot medal, because the enemy's not going to be catering to you. They're not going to say, oh, he's trying to get a long shot, I'm going to walk backwards so that they can get it. No, they're not going to do that. They're going to come forward and try and attack you. So if you're as further back as possible, then that's going to make it more likely. So if there's like a ledge or something behind you, you think, I can move backwards so I can extend the distance. Just do it. Just move back as far as you can, extend the distance as you can, as much between the two people, so you and the enemy, so that it's more likely to get a long shot medal. It's not really that far a distance at all, long shot medals. It depends on the map, but it's really not that far at all. It's not like the other side of the map or anything. It's actually not too far at all, so it should be quite easy. Yeah, just get into the frame of mind of thinking it doesn't matter if I die, because I can just make up the difference of how many deaths I got by going on different game modes another time. Don't worry about that. You're only focusing on long shot medals. And then finally, maps, I would go for stuff, if you can. The best maps are things like Biolab and Detroit and Instinct. So guys, that's been today's setup. I hope you guys have enjoyed and I hope it's been useful. Now go out there, get some long shots, and if it is helpful, then make sure you leave a like to let other people know that it's helpful as well. You can obviously subscribe, it help me out, and you can see other advanced warfare videos I've done. Many other guides coming, and then finally, if you want to go and check out any other videos such as how to get headshots easy, that's going to be a video for you guys. I'm going to be doing that soon, so there'll be an annotation on screen for that. But that's been my time, guys. I'll see you guys next time.